Los Angeles. Whatever you're into, you can find it here. In the Artist's Kitchen, we'll travel into different neighborhoods to explore the diverse community of artists. We'll be connecting and sharing an intimate and unique experience, and we'll get a taste of how artists live, cook, and create. Together, we'll eat, drink, and learn to cook our artist's favorite dish. Connection gives us meaning and purpose, and food is one of the great universal connectors. Come with me, your host, Monica Mader, as we journey across the Los Angeles landscape and indulge an appetite for food, art, and adventure. Welcome to the Artist's Kitchen. I'm Monica Mader, your host for the Artist's Kitchen. In this episode, we are downtown in Los Angeles in the Arts District. We're going to meet with talented sculptor David Hollen and his husband Frank Theobald to cook their rendition of a 2-day chili. It's going to be delicious, but you have to be patient because it takes 2 days. So come on, let's go. Nestled between the west bank of the Los Angeles River and the 101 freeway, just east of downtown is the rapidly changing Arts District. About 150 years ago, this land was covered with vineyards, then citrus orchards. Eventually, factories and rail freight lines made it into an industrial hub. By the 1970s, the area had become a decaying urban corner peppered with vacant warehouses, providing cheap and seedy digs for as low as 3 cents a square foot for adventurous artists and the like. Coffee was 25 cents, and there was no place for vegan sausage or gluten-free pizza like there is today. In 1981, the Artists in Residence Ordinance was passed, allowing artists to reside lawfully in what is currently known as the Arts District, and opened the floodgates for gentrification. Ooh, they're here! What's up?
Welcome. So glad to see you.
Thank you.
Welcome to Hollen Art Studio.
Thank you.
Welcome to the land of the troglodytes of the Arts District.
This is us.
Come on.
This is a 100-year-old building here, so be careful of the old stairs here.
Okay, thank you.
Come on down into the basement.
Ooh.
And this is our studio. Come on down.
Walking into David Hollen's studio, we enter an artist's dream space. Having living quarters, a workshop, and spacious gallery to showcase his work all under one roof makes this a truly unique spot in the Arts District. The gallery is filled with David's fantastic sculptures.
I want to show this piece off here first. This is called thorn cone. And these pieces are made out of hand-rolled porcelain. It's a type of porcelain called bamboo. It's a very pure white type of porcelain.
David, can you tell us a little bit about this piece?
This is called black ice. If you've ever been to Minnesota or any of the colder places, you end up with the ice on it. When you break it up, it looks just like these pieces here. This is all acrylic that's been smoked with a candle. And the idea is that I wanted this kind of intense geometry piece with this kind of soft, organic overlay on it. It has a real presence to it. I'm always looking for a piece that has a good presence for it. It's easier for me to talk about the materials and processes to get it than it is more to get into the emotional content of what I'm working on. Basically what it is, if I ever tried not doing it, what happens is there's just like a deadness drops over me and I realize that I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I think that I'm touching on something that's important, that's something that people that resonates with them. That's why I'm always fascinated by how people respond to it. And because there's so many really interesting responses that I get to it.
We're gonna head out and pick up some of our ingredients.
Let's go shopping!
Let's go shopping! According to David and Frank, the secret to great chili is in the variety of peppers. So we hit the supermarket for poblanos, serranos, and jalapenos.
These are hot.
David picks tomatillos. Do you have a technique for picking out your favorites?
Ones that don't look rotten or weird.
Right.
Yeah.
Any type of onion will do since we'll liquefy them. Grab a big sack of garlic and head to the meat counter for your favorite cut of cheap meat. And don't forget, queso fresco. Then we pick up canned goods and cornbread. And make a pit stop in the booze aisle. Are we all set with our shopping?
Yes, but we got way too much.
It can never be too much.
Too much is just enough.
I'm from Wisconsin. There's a drink called Wisconsin Old Fashioned. There's normally an Old Fashioned's made with fizzy water and really good bourbon and with some sugar with an ice cube and all that. Well, Wisconsin does that, only they add a lot more sugar to it. So we want it much, much sweeter. So the way we do here is we start with a big glass of ice and then we put the bitters.
Yep.
So we put like a good that much in. How we used to make it at home was with brandy, but I like it with Seagram 7. So in this case here, we put about that much. It depends on how.
Ooh. What's that, 2 ounces?
I think it's about 60 milliliters we're putting in.
Oh, milliliter, yeah.
See?
Okay, that's great.
Straight from Walter White's laboratory.
Nice. So are there any residual chemicals in there? What was he making?
So again, this is the trick here. Instead of putting fizzy water, we put 7-Up in it.
More
Because
sugar.
it adds more sugar, right? We put cherry in each one. It's a wonderful Maraschino cherry juice. Mmm.
And so there's no muddling.
No muddling.
No muddling. It's the
Again,
bartender's friend.
we're efficient.
Right.
Our studio is about getting the job done quick in the best possible way. All the time spent is in making the art. But when I want a drink, I want a good drink and I want it fast.
Right.
So none of this muddling and all that.
Yeah.
Chin chin, everybody.
Chin
Cheers. First one. It's delicious. And I'm looking forward to sharing a few
Many more.
This is a great inexpensive meal. Because we live in the arts district and we have friends who are artists, we often have dinner guests. And it's a way to feed a lot of people very cheaply.
And it's really delicious. Each one of these peppers has a very distinctive flavor.
Yes.
In fact, the hotter they are, I found that the more flavor they have.
Right.
This has the most amazing flavor to it.
Well, yeah,
On
but
top of the heat, setting the heat aside, these things just add so much flavor.
my mother was born in 1900. And they had always told the story that on the chuck wagon in cattle drives, cook would make chili, and when they had to move, it was something he could leave in the pot and carry. And so that's where the 24-hour thing comes in. Whether it's 4 pounds of onions or 3 pounds of onions, an equal weight of chilies, half that of tomatillos, tomatoes, to equal weight in meats. Yeah.
For this recipe.
For this
about,
recipe.
For about 10 people.
Yeah.
One of the things about this is that it's a budget meal. Purpose of chili is to cover up how bad the meat is.
But this isn't bad meat.
No, this is really good. But for in Wisconsin, you take down a deer or a elk or something like that, or even a bear. The meat can be totally tough and all that. So one of the things you do is you always make a chili out of it.
All right, so we have Anaheim chilies, poblanos, serranos, jalapeno, and habanero, and we're gonna go torch them up. That's sexy. Fire is super sexy.
What's great about this is that it's perfect combustion. This is an oxyacetylene welding kit.
This is really ultra fast. It's like almost like lightning speed. It's instant. How many degrees?
5,000 degrees.
5,000 degrees. Whoa. I think in this, how high does this go?
Not nearly
Not
that.
nearly, yeah. Kids, don't try this at home. Unless if you're a professional.
Yes, this is the work of a professional.
Look at the blistering, it's immediate.
Every 20 minutes we completely change the air out down here, which is great for when I'm doing some really stinky stuff, like roasting chilies.
You can smell that.
Now these I can smell, yeah.
Yeah. All right, we're done.
We're done. We had enough.
Wow.
We had enough
Look at
fuel.
that.
Excellent.
Okay.
So
Woo! Fire! How exciting. So we fire roasted our chilies, we have our onions, we're gonna chop them up and get them fired up in the pan.
It's not real important to get them even because they're going to liquefy. Chili pot,
With my big brother.
1/4 pound of butter. We're smoking. That's what I want to see. Stay out of the fumes. Take this on medium to medium-high heat. You do kind of want to stir the butter onto the onion. The important part here now too is keep the lid on. Oh good, we're steaming, which is what we want because that's the water, the liquid in the onion.
All right, so we've got the onions in the pot with a stick of butter. They are starting to slowly cook on what, medium low heat?
Mm-hmm.
I'm chopping up the last of three bulbs of garlic for this overnight chili. And we're refreshing our delicious drinks.
these things can be really hot, and you know how it gets when it gets on your skin and you always touch your eye and stuff like that? please, use some gloves.
I will happily take the gloves to save myself. Also, the other thing is, when you go to the bathroom, take the gloves off. Are we keeping all the seeds in?
I've been taking the seeds out. This is, it used to be I'd leave them in, but they were super, super hot.
Yeah.
And we got plenty of heat and a lot of flavor coming here. So get, 90% of them out.
And you were saying this one is a chili, it's never the same twice. It's
No.
always a little bit different,
A little
variation.
different, yeah.
Because of the heat and the peppers, the flavor in the peppers, the
Well,
heat
and-
that you get.
Usually when I make it for just David and I, about 80% of it goes in the freezer. My favorite is the baked potatoes. Put the chili in the microwave, crack open the baked potato, and dump the chili on it.
Do you melt cheese on it too?
Sometimes,
Yeah.
There's
everything's
all
better
sorts of
with cheese.
ingredients, yeah.
Like, what is it about the Arts District that you love so much?
But for me, the main thing about the Arts District was that there was the high concentration of people in the same profession that I was in. We're always constantly pushing each other in small ways. It's like somebody does a really beautiful piece of art, it's like, wow, damn, I gotta get better with my work.
Sculptors
peers.
and painters can be very competitive, but they speak the same fundamental language. They each have their own voice. They have their own style, and they have their own definitions. That comes through in their art. But when they're together, there's a communication, a form of support or criticism that it's very enjoyable and fascinating to listen to.
Easily twice as hot as any of the other ones are the habaneros, the little orange ones. These are
Yeah.
super hot.
It's gonna be a hot chili.
It's not just about the heat, it's about the flavor.
Yep.
These habaneros, those few that we add there will add a very strong distinctive flavor.
This is not for gringos.
Ooh, yeah, it's turning golden. Already, it's breaking down and starting to smell sweet. So is this the right time to
Yeah.
add the peppers?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna
Now,
add these.
we don't stir anymore. We dump the peppers in and literally just dump that in.
Okay. There's some seeds, but not all the seeds, because otherwise we might be in pain tomorrow.
Now that the chilies are in,
Yes.
we're going to leave the lid on for 15-20 minutes. Then we'll chop up the tomatillos and put them in on top. Let it cook overnight, and tomorrow we're gonna add everything else.
Nice. Yeah, I love tomatillos. It's a nice, tangy, fresh. I love tomatillo and salsa, fire roasted tomatillos.
It adds a nice citrus, it adds a little acid.
Yep.
So now we're gonna stir this because we went ahead and we want our flavors to start marrying.
All right.
Now dump that on top,
Okay. Tomatillos.
and we're not gonna stir it,
2 pounds.
but we're just gonna lay it out over the top. Put the lid on. O'Keefe and Merritt was known for its low temperature and accuracy on its burners.
I'm gonna look. Yeah, that's a nice low flame.
Very nice low flame. It'll never boil over, it'll never scorch.
So we're not gonna burn this, leaving it overnight. There's so much liquid in there. There's already.
Nick,
So I'm gonna, okay. So the liquid is probably about here, and then we just put the tomatillos on right here, and then all of the moisture from the tomatillos will also release and have more liquid, and then everything will start
Yeah,
dancing together.
dancing together. So we're good till tomorrow.
All right.
You
So
okay?
time to have another cocktail.
Yeah.
All right. We'll
Okay.
see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Welcome back for day 2 of Overnight Chili with David and Frank.
Let's take a look. Now, as you remember, last night it was filled with chilies and onion. Now look at all the liquid.
Yeah.
Taste it.
Okay. Wow. It's delicious. It's spicy and a little bit sweet and pretty darn pure.
Yeah.
So it has heat, but it's not overpowering. This is definitely a subtle, but it's a prolonged heat.
you taste the habanero.
Yeah, I taste the habanero, and there's different parts of my tongue, and the heat is traveling right now.
Yeah, that's the jalapeno, serrano, habanero, because they hit different parts of the palate.
Yeah.
Off the top, I'm only going to do 1 can of tomato paste. Tomato paste is sugar. You don't want super sweet chili. Also, in the kidney beans that we'll be adding, rinse them. Don't use the liquid.
What do you need next?
Another can of tomatoes.
So this is the refried.
That's your thickener. And that gets.
Well, that's good color. Yeah. Love the color of kidney beans. And the texture, it's like
Yeah.
really nice and meaty. So if you were to do this vegetarian, could you kind of stop with
No meat.
just like this and then let it cook down? Just kind of stop right here and then add your seasonings.
About half our friends are vegetarian. And I cook for them.
Yeah.
A lot.
So would you take like a portion of this
Take a
out
portion out.
and then add your meat so you can feed your omnivores and your vegivores?
Yep.
Your vegetarians.
Just on the spur of the moment, just looking at it, I'm gonna add a can of corn.
Ooh.
Just for color.
All right.
And more sweetness.
And more
Sure,
sweetness, that's true.
What we have here, now there's the corn, chilies, the beans, the tomatoes, the tomato paste.
You don't want a rapid boil on it, kind of a slow, low boil.
Like it, so bring it to a simmer so it'll reduce,
Yeah.
thicken, all the flavors will seep into
And
it.
we'll prepare the meat,
All right.
brown it, and throw it in.
All right, and then the seasoning we'll do after?
No, we season with the meat.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you what I was told by my great aunt from Massachusetts. Put bay leaf in beans when they're cooking and you remove the gas. Bay leaf.
So we have our meat we're gonna season for the delicious overnight chili. We've got pork and beef. We have our toasted cumin. And we have the ancho chili and the chipotle.
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 Now
Okay.
you toasted this, right?
Yes,
Yeah, we toasted.
we toasted it to give it a little better flavor.
We got the aromatics.
I, again, like the rustic style, so I want some whole.
You can add cumin without toasting it, but the toasting just brings out a roasty flavor. It's so good.
And David and I are spice freaks, okay? We really like our spices. We do everything to excess. So that was 3 tablespoons and it's all going in. 2 tablespoons chipotle and 1 tablespoon ancho.
Which gives it a smoky.
The smoky and the ancho is quite spicy.
So smoky, spicy, savory.
The best way to mix this up?
Hands.
Yep. So let's
And while you're doing that, I'm gonna
add the
sprinkle
essence of umami.
You do want it to rest for like 5 minutes.
Okay.
So that because we put in dry ingredients, you want the liquids in the meat to absorb those.
Right.
So you're not just coating the meat.
Right, so it penetrates.
Yeah.
Okay.
Meat clay, yeah.
Meat clay.
And I'm preheating my pans. I always preheat everything. So
Well, it opens the pores in the metal, and then things have they're less likely to stick.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we're using peanut oil.
And we don't need a whole lot. Let's go 2 tablespoons.
All right.
About a third.
Is that about third?
So we're doing in thirds so that it sears at a higher temperature. If we put everything in, it's just going to steam.
We browned the meat. It's going to be cooking for an hour in the chili. That is flavor.
That is flavor.
Okay.
Yep. So we've got all the meat in the chili. It's going to stew and marry together, and the meat's going to become more tender, and all of the seasonings are going to just be so delicious. But right now we're going to taste it first. Make sure it's well on its way.
What do you think?
Delicious.
Excellent.
Excellent seasoning. I can't wait to eat it.
No one's here. Go away.
I wonder who this could be.
Hey,
Look who this is!
Happy
It's
March
you!
Madness.
Oh. Welcome.
Hi, how's it going? Chili!
Here we are.
Hi, Tim.
We found a dog out in the street. Is here. Jada.
Welcome. So good to see you. Please come on in.
Hi,
Good
sweetheart.
to see you.
I got a new purse today.
Aww.
I don't think it's big enough.
Welcome.
Faye Conrad.
Yeah.
No, we got it from Rachel. Yeah.
This is like turning into a real party, don't you?
It's turning into a party.
This is going to be fantastic.
You never
Okay,
know
yeah.
who's going to show up in
Look
the
at-
artist kitchen.
Look how much chili we have. We have more than enough.
Yes.
We could do twice as many people here.
Yep.
So we got all those. We can make these wonderful old fashions. We got 2 big growlers of beer. We're set to go.
We're going to make
set
cornbread.
to
We're making
go.
a double batch.
We got to keep Frank on task here, though. He's just having way too much fun. So.
The cornbread is done. The chili is done. We're ready to eat. Frank, bring it.
Chili.
Yeah. Oh my god, it looks delicious. All right, so we're gonna garnish everybody. Come on in.
Come on in.
We're eating. Everything's ready.
Everybody makes their own bowl.
This
Okay.
is fantastic. that's got a really nice balance. It's still spicy, it's got heat, but it's not painful.
And all of a sudden you'll find you didn't notice the cumin at first, and all of a sudden the roasted cumin comes in.
Good, isn't it? Made the first chili in the world.
Really good. It's good chili.
Delicious.
This is easily our 20th.
Again, it's not a recipe, it's concept.
It's a concept, yeah.
We're wrapping it up here in the Arts District with David Hollen and Frank Theobald, with all of the beautiful guests who came by in the Artist Kitchen to make overnight chili with all of the delicious savory components between the onion, the garlic, the seasonings, and the meat. The company was fantastic. The art has been amazing. It's just such strong work. And I want to thank David and Frank. I'm super honored and privileged to be here with Frank and David. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time on the Artist Kitchen. So you've been here in the Arts District for about 10 years. Can you tell us about some of the changes you've seen?
Well, one of the primary ones is that I'm not being propositioned by crack whores anymore when I come home. I swear it.
Right, okay. So that's number one.
People
crack
actually feel
whores.
safe driving into our neighborhood now. It used to be that we were the scariest neighborhood around. I mean, this area.
How long ago?
I mean, as little as 10 years ago, but I mean, I remember what this place was like in the 90s. I mean, it was just terrifying. I mean, there was open fires in the street.
I noticed when we walked in, you have this beautiful anvil.
I use it all the time for hammering, but it's almost become a symbol of my studio. So I will never be without my anvil.
I love it. It is a symbol of creation.